Um, but we have got a great top Zen for you guys tonight. Back in July of this year, Ubisoft's veteran chief creative officer Serge Haskiot, I think I butchered his name,
Good
but it's
job.
okay. I don't care that much. He's kind of an asshole. And his influential editorial team repeatedly pushed back against plans to integrate prominent female leads into the Assassin's Creed games. These directives came from either Ubisoft's marketing department or Haskell himself, both of whom have suggested that female protagonists wouldn't sell. To no one's surprise, Haskut was already proven wrong by the legion of gamer girls out there, but also by his own sexual misconduct allegations. Nevertheless, we're not sure if this point has made it all the way across as we'd quite hoped. So this week's Top Zen, we're counting down the top 10 female protagonists in video games, and we're going to start right off with the legendary Miss Pacman at number 10. Tell us why Miss Pacman makes number 10 on our countdown, Kev.
Yeah, well, you can't have top 10 female video game icons without Miss Pacman, right? She's iconic just in video game characters in general. Miss Pacman is a 1982 maze arcade game developed by General Computer Corporation and is published in Midway. It's a sequel to Pacman and is the first entry in the series to not be made by Namco. But what makes Miss Pacman cool is that, not only is she a caring and loving mother and wife, but she still manages to keep us all safe from scary ghosts. She was created in an attempt to bring more women into video games, and is kind of thought as the first step in that direction amongst many people within the space. So, that's Miss Pacman. I mean, what more can I say?
The thing about it is that what people don't realize is most people, when they say they've played Pac-Man, they really played Miss Pac-Man. Right. It wasn't Pac-Man that they played. Miss Pac-Man is the common one that we see in all the arcades and everything else like that. That's the one that we know and love. Miss Pac-Man is cooler than regular Pac-Man. So,
it's
a better game.
Better game.
Yeah.
But not as cool as number 9 in our countdown. Number 9 is Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil series. Brahman, tell us why Jill Valentine makes number 9.
Well, Jill Valentine first appeared in the original Resident Evil installment in 1996. This game allows you to choose to play as either Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, each player is offering their own special abilities. Valentine is a high-ranking special operations official of the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance. She's also a bomb expert who uses this unique skill set throughout the game. It really comes in handy, and you're able to get badass weapons with her, like the grenade launcher, because of her knowledge of bombs and all those sorts of tech. She uses her strength and wit to begin uncovering the atrocities of the Umbrella Corporation and fight to take them down. And she continues battling zombies well beyond the first game, coming up in Resident Evil 3, Umbrella Chronicles, and Resident Evil 5, just to name a few. Yeah. Jill Valentine.
Yeah. She's a legend. She's a legend.
Yes, she is. Honestly, she's like the main character I think of when someone mentions Resident Evil. As far as the protagonist, obviously, all the antagonists, the terrible guys they have there. But as far as the protagonist, Jill Valentine is someone that immediately pops in my head.
Yeah. She's been double tapping zombies since 1996, man. Like she's the real deal, and she was a hard female protagonist or a strong female protagonist. And it was great to see that, especially early on in the early 90s. That's something that was very, very much needed. But moving right along in our countdown, another person known for double tapping, probably triple tapping, quadruple tapping, probably tapping a couple more times after that. Sonia Blade comes in at number 8 in our countdown. Debuting in 1992, the very first Mortal Kombat game, Sonya Blade takes number 8 in the countdown slot with a brutal fatality. As one of Earthrealm's few fighters, Sonya Blade has a combat series, and unlike many of her co-workers, she's not simply an obvious sex symbol in the game. Like, it's a big bonus. In a game of a lot of obvious sex symbols. I mean, seriously, who wears a bikini to the battle? Like, no shame in wearing a bikini, but it's just not practical for a fight. In Mortal Kombat, she's portrayed by the legendary UFC fighter Ronda Rousey. Quarantine to play some Mortal Kombat and has built quite a following. But what's really funny is that she actually, despite voicing Sonya Blade, she actually prefers playing as Cassie Cage. But yeah, Ronda Rousey making it at number 8 in our countdown. Or sorry, Sonya Blade making it at number 8 in their countdown.
Basically,
Might as well be Ronda Rousey. Might as well be Ronda Rousey. Did you guys ever play with Mortal Kombat? Play against little Sonya Blade?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Apparently, so I haven't played the new one, but apparently she is a problem in this one. I think a friend of mine, I think Sag, has streamed it a couple times, and there is just clips of him just screaming all types of expletives as he's getting thrashed by Sonya Blade. So
she doesn't play. She doesn't play.
Yeah, no, she does not. She does not.
No.
Fatalities are just brutal too. Not the brutalities. The brutalities are brutal, but the fatalities.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, a little bit less brutal, a little bit more techie. Number 7 in our countdown is Cortana series. Tell us why Cortana makes number 7 in our countdown, Kev.
Yeah, it's time to weep some sad tears from our good old Xbox fanboys. A smart AI formerly in service with the United Nations Space Command, unique and exceptionally powerful even among smart AI, she was one of the most important figures in the Human Covenant War and served as John 117's partner in the final months of the conflict. Her flexibility and tactical skill provide invaluable in boosting the combat ability of the Halcyon-class light cruiser Pillar of Autumn, the orbital defense platform Cairo Station, and the stalwart class light frigate in amber clad. In addition, she held vital data pertaining to the Halo array, including the activation index from Installation 04. And she's basically the heart and engine that kept Master Chief going through all of the games and through all of the conflict. She's also your Windows AI.
It made it hard to find the right image for her when I was hunting down for those, like Cortana. Not that Cortana.
Yeah. So, I know everyone in here is familiar with Cortana. I know she's got a soft spot in everyone's heart, right? Like you.
Oh yeah.
To me, I think juxtaposing like the hardened, stoic, never see the face of Master Chief, like she kind of brought like that. I guess that needed.
She was the emotion. She was like the heart.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to play any of the Halo games? Brahman, did you get to experience Cortana?
Yeah, I've played a few.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but
Sony fangirl till you die. Well, this one should be great for you then. Number 6 on our countdown, Ellie from The Last of Us, the Sony exclusive, is number 6 on our countdown. Why does Ellie come in at number 6 on our countdown, Brahman?
All right, Ellie is the focal character, or one of the focal characters of the Last of Us franchise, which takes place 20 years after modern civilization has been destroyed due to a fungal outbreak. Ellie's immunity to the infection marks her as a valuable asset who you as the player, embodying Joel Miller, is tasked with escorting across post-apocalyptic America. One of the central focuses of the game is the relationship between Joel and Ellie, a very emotional storyline throughout this zombie apocalyptic massacre that you are going through. And even though you only get to play as Ellie occasionally in this first game, her impact on the game is really great. The strength and complexity of her character subverts this damsel in distress stereotype. She also plays a major role in The Last of Us Part 2, becoming the main playable character. And she takes major leaps for LGBTQ representation in video games as well, because there's not a lot of representation. And the kiss between her and her female love interest, Riley, was just groundbreaking in video game worlds.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot. I mean, you didn't get to play with her much in Last of Us Part 1, but Last of Us Part 2, I believe, she's like the main character that you play as. and the DLC for Last of Us, I believe you play as her as well. So there's tons where you do get to play as her, and she's been the focus. And watching her grow up as a character has been really, really interesting, in my opinion. Of course, also, got to get the gay points as well. Always love to see that. Shout out to my LGBTQ brothers. But yeah, I mean, like Ellie is a fantastic character and definitely deserves a spot on this list. Kev?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to play any of The Last of Us, but I'm quite familiar with, I guess, some of the lore. And from everything that I've read or heard about Ellie, like, I think the strength from her just, like, having to survive this, like, like, a post-apocalyptic zombie world, and then everything that she's dealing with just on, just from a personal base, I think, I don't know. It intrigues me enough to where I want to play this franchise because of her, right? Like, I think, again, as we mentioned with Jill Valentine, she's like another one of the characters that pops in my head when someone mentions this franchise.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of controversy with her as well, I think. A lot, like, her character design was a lot designed off Ellen Page. And without her consent.
Yeah.
Well, like
Ellie,
she did a lot of work with it originally in the beginning, and then left the project, and they kind of left the work in there. And she was like, "No, I left the project. That means you can't use my likeness," and that's how the whole conversation started, I believe.
Okay,
but
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story, but you can see she kind of looks a little bit different in The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reason why they're trying to make her look less like Ellen Page.
Right.
So interesting side story there. But if we're talking about gay points, we got to talk about number 5 in our countdown, Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard is the first time a protagonist could be either male or female, and it revolutionized the way we look at games. Femme Shepard was a very important step for equality. As one gamer puts it, as to why Femme Shep is so awesome, I think a large part of it is down to how she is written. Because aside from romances and smattering gender-specific lines across the trilogy, the truth is that there is no Femme Shep in the eyes of the writers. There's just Shepard, whose gender is interchangeable. 95% of the lines were said by Shepard were said by both genders. Additionally, NPCs mostly interacted with Commander Shepard, not male Shepard or female Shepard. And 95% of the time, the characters would behave and say the exact same things to Femme Shepard as they would male Shepard. So, Femme Shepard became an icon because she truly represented equality. And although it was kind of like a cutout, didn't do very much different than the male character, in the way that kind of ended up being a grounding thing that was really, really good for it. It also was a major milestone for LGBTQ representation, which is something that BioWare has been known for ever since they started sneaking lesbians into Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But it was the first time queer characters were a normal part of the story for both, female and female characters, both male and male characters. And it wasn't just, sometime a time they were just a normal part of the story, and they weren't just some weird trope in there that was like, this is the weird gay fighter who fights with his gay stuff, and like it was a really, really groundbreaking step. So that's why Femme Shep makes number 5 in our countdown. Do you guys? You're a big Mass Effect fan, right, Kev?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm super thrilled that that she's on this list. Like Femme Shep and male Shep, I guess, or just, like
Shepard.
Shepard. They're literally you or whoever you want to be, and I think like BioWare did a great job of that, just incorporating that in there, and then making it very inclusive, not just from the NPCs, but you as the protagonist as well. Even on their game, on the third one, a lot of people, I'm not sure, are aware of this, but you had the option of either just having your box cover be either Shepard, whatever one you wanted. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Brahma, did you ever get a chance to play Mass Effect at all, or?
No, I did not. I've seen some clips of gameplay and stuff like that, but I've never actually played it.
Yeah, but even like without playing it, I feel like you can still understand like the importance of like Femme Shep and what she did.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyways, moving right along in our countdown, number 4 is Zelda / Sheik. Tell us why Zelda and Sheik make the countdown.
I got this one, boys. Okay, first off, let's talk about how the entire game series is named after her, and she's not even the main character. Now that's badass. Like, you think Zelda, that's the first thing you'd think. And sometimes you have to correct people and let them know, yeah, like that's Link, that's not Zelda. But
Yeah.
still, she takes the whole series. She is a princess born into the royal family of Hyrule, but besides being a princess, she's also a literal goddess. Zelda is a reincarnation of the goddess Hylia, who is one of the 3 goddesses who made the entire universe. So that's pretty cool and badass as well. She possesses the Triforce of Wisdom, and her wise ways are apparent throughout the games. It always seems as if she knows a little bit more than Link, and that he's always just catching up. She's crafty too. Rather than hide in the shadows when she's being hunted by Ganon, she disguises herself so she can continue to protect Hyrule. This is where Sheik comes in. She cross-dresses as a man, her alter ego Sheik, a mysterious shrouded warrior of the Sheikah tribe, in order to maneuver around Hyrule when she's highly wanted and is able to come in and help Link throughout his journey. Also, playing Smash Bros, you're able to, while you're playing Zelda, switch between the two, which is so much fun. You get that cool little grappling hook thing. You get to just bam, pop out. Voila, you're Zelda again, throwing your little magic light spells. Yeah. She's best. Yeah.
Yes. And they really do feel like 2 different characters too. Like they move differently, they walk differently, they kind of act differently. Yeah. So
I think they made them 2 different characters in the current Smash.
Yeah, they did, because there was so many boys that were upset. I don't want to play that girl first, not realizing that it's the same character.
Well, it was that, but also she was really broken. Yeah, because you just literally had 2 characters that you could switch in and out from. Like, I think Sheik was more melee and up close, and then Zelda was long range. So you could, you
could really do a lot. You had a lot of mobility there.
Yeah.
But not quite as much mobility as number 3 in our countdown. The Tomb Raider. See that transition there? Oh, that was nice. Yes. Yeah. Tav, tell us why Tomb Raider makes number 3 in our countdown.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Debuting in 1996 under original developer core design Lara Croft, who is the Tomb Raider, has attained massive popularity and is considered by many to be among the most iconic, influential, and important video game characters of all time. Lara Croft is an English archaeologist, treasure hunter, and tomb raider. Born to an aristocratic family, Lara is generally disinterested in upper-class society, finding it stifling and boring. She takes far more interest in delving into the secrets of the past and finding what is believed to not exist. Lara's expeditions have led her to search for some of the most powerful and dangerous artifacts in the world, as well as uncovering some of the most mysterious places in Earth's history, and unfoiling secret plots by Cabal organizations to take over the world. Lara's exploits and are legendary, even garnering a reputation, though occasionally that reputation is less than flattering. Lara is often in a race against time with those who seek the same relics she does for nefarious intentions. Lara has thwarted many groups and individuals who are incredibly well-equipped or powerful, including crazed religious cults, mad scientists, and even gods. Lara will often lock up some of the most powerful relics in her manor in order to keep them out of anyone's hands but her own, and if the situation requires it, she may even destroy the artifact if need be. And all around, she's just a complete badass. And the last 3 games that came out have been fantastic. Small plug here, I recommend anyone playing who wants something new or hasn't played anything yet, pick up those new Tomb Raiders. Play all 3 of them. It's well worth your time. Yeah.
I had a friend actually give them to me, and I have not played through them yet, so maybe I might hit them up on stream.
Yeah, they're more on the realistic side of things. They're not, the sensationalized. She's doing cartwheels with 2 pistols, like the first Tomb Raider. It's on her way to becoming the Tomb Raider, so she's kind of naive and clumsy in a way. But you kind of progress through it. It's just really well written. I think even the cast or the writing actually won. I forget what it was. I think it was a SAG award.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Right. So the writing and the story in it is incredible too.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's real impressive.
Yeah.
All right, but we're getting down to the real impressive now because we're getting down to the top two. Number two in our countdown is Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Chun-Li was the first playable female video game character in a fighting game, a genre that was typically dominated by men with tigers as heads or sumo wrestling goblins. Until Chun-Li windmill kicked the glass ceiling to fans' delight. Known as the Kicking Beauty and the strongest woman in the world, Chun-Li made her debut in 1991 in Street Fighter II. She was chosen often since she was the fastest character in the game and showed that the misogynistic game culture of the 90s exactly what the strongest woman in the world means. Because of her, I mean, to be honest, like, she was one of the pilots for female video game fighting characters. Right. And because of Chun-Li, now there will always be a female fighter in every video game, at least one, because of Chun-Li. And I think that's that reason alone is enough to put her at number 2 on the countdown. What do you think? Chun-Li making number 2 on the countdown. I think it's well deserved. What do you think, Brahman?
Yeah, definitely well deserved. A pioneer, and I know she was I would always choose her when I was playing the game. Glad to see some sort of representation. It's awesome.
Yeah. Right. No, for sure. And she was a problem in Street Fighter too. I remember that was something my uncle would always tell me. It's like, if you're playing a fighting game, 9 times out of 10, the best characters are female.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And in this one, Chun-Li was the fastest. And those windmill kicks, man, you did not want to mess with that. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Well, Chun-Li is a big contender, for sure. But she's not as big as number 1 in our countdown. And number 1 in our countdown is Samus Aran. Why is Samus Aran number 1 in our countdown, Brahman?
Well, she's not only number 1 on our countdown, she's also the most I guess that is number 1 on our countdown. Yeah, so she's number 1 on our countdown, and this is also but this was also one of the most shocking moments in a game. So you're playing Metroid series, you're this armored space bounty hunter with a freaking cannon as an arm, blasting aliens left and right until you finally destroy the mother brain. At that ending of this game, the final ending sequence, Samus removes the iconic orange space suit and reveals that she is a woman. This was such an impactful moment because leading up to this, if you're playing through this game in real time, this hasn't been revealed to you yet. Like, how shocking and how amazing is that moment to you? I know for me it was pretty groundbreaking. I had no idea that I was playing as a woman the whole game, and then you see that and it's just wow, like complete the glass ceiling.
I think two things are big. One, she's the first female video game character of all time. Like, 1986 makes her the first one ever. Which makes her iconic just in that dimension. Right. But two, what a way to break down the internalized misogyny of our culture. Because here's how they did that. You went through the entire game. You went through all of this epic battles, and like your quest for completing the game was finding out that Samus was a woman. And it was such a reveal at the time, but you still completed the game. Like, it's not like, you know, you had to go back to it after that. You just kind of left with it after that. And you're kind of like, huh. And that was such a revealing thing that the shock of it kind of passed the internalized misogyny that you would think would be there already. And so I think that it was a genius way in 1986 to really introduce that. And it paved the way, not just because she was the first to do so, but because she kind of did it in a way that really broke the glass ceiling, like really kind of started breaking into culture and getting female video game characters more integrated into the culture in general.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Samus, I don't think we would have had like Jill Valentine or Ellie, or like all these characters that came after that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, for sure. And she's long overdue for a new game too. Just saying, Nintendo.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She for real is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to roll up in the little ball. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I mean, like, give me a Nintendo game where I'm flying through space as a bounty hunter. I would eat that up. I'd be streaming it all day. Hit me up, Nintendo.
The one that came out on GameCube that was fucking phenomenal because it's like
That
in
was
first
great.
person. Just it was fantastic. Yeah.
Metroid Prime. That was a good one.
Yep.
That was a good one. Mwah. All right. Well, that about does it for our show today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.